Oh, people all up in his life. He's down. Jalen Smith there. Drew Brees can't do much about it from over there. Cowboys. Would force a punt. Cowboys possession.
What you have to do when you have a backup quarterback, and Teddy Bridgewater has benefited from it, and so has this team.
Yeah, I mean, not just getting stops, but if you can take that ball away, as you had steal an extra possession for your guy, kill some time off the clock against that offense, all things helpful. So Drew Brees saw a ton of pictures of him on the sideline doing this with his thumb, making sure he's all right, playing tiddlywinks.
Right.
But that leaves it over to Teddy Bridgewater. The thing is, he's still got the guys to throw to, right? And if you've got an alpha like Michael Thomas, like that makes your job easier.
Listen, that's the big thing. And you hear so many times during the broadcast that Michael Thomas isn't a guy that's going to catch deep balls or he isn't a speed receiver. But the comfort he provides you from the position is huge. This is a guy who was targeted 9 times tonight. And guess how many catches he had, J.A.? He had 9. Every time you went to him, it was a short catch. He was putting his body in between the ball and the defensive back, and that's what you have to do. Picking up huge third downs, continuing to move the ball. And no, it wasn't the huge play down the field. The longest catch was 20 yards, but still, he made sure that Teddy Bridgewater knew he had a security blanket. There was always somewhere to go with the football when the plays needed to be made. And when you have that guy on the outside, one, that's why you pay him $100 million.
Worth
but
it.
number 2, you make sure he gets the target no matter who is playing the quarterback position.
Teddy Bridgewater is not making 9 figures, but he's a well-paid backup, and 2-0 Teddy has paid off because I don't care what quarterback you have in the league. If your guy is 2-0 and he's beating Seattle and he's beating Dallas.
I think that's the biggest thing, John. If you look at this schedule, when you see Seattle and Dallas, you think 2 losses.
Right.
But this team has wins, and it brings you closer to Drew Brees coming back.
You know who's happy about that?
Sean Payton.
Sean Payton, here he is live.
You know, we're playing a lot of those close games, and I thought our guys finished well.
Given the opponent in last year, it was a similar game, you probably figured it would be one of these kind of scratch-it-out kind of games.
Yeah, I mean, look, there's sometimes you think that going in, and it's the opposite, and then the other times. So I think you're really focused more on the things, the keys that we feel like to win the game are. Winning the turnover ratio, that was a key to victory. Winning the Russian battle, that was a key to victory. And then if you win both of those, you have a really good chance of winning the game, and I thought those were important stats.
How significant is you don't have Drew, but you're 3-1 after 4 games? How significant is that in your opinion? Is that
well, I mean, I think it's what you said it is. We're 3-1, and you get back to work. You work on improving. We're still early enough in the year, and I say this. I can't get into all the things that we're still not doing well, and yet we're doing enough to win some of these close games, and that's encouraging. But there's a lot of things fundamentally that we have to improve on. And, so fortunately we're coaching off a win and not a loss and making those corrections. But, yeah.
So what does it speak to that you're able to win these close games when you're not doing things as well as you would want?
Well, look, I get angry at myself because it starts with me relative to some things maybe that we're putting in that we think will be easily replicated, and yet we get in the game, and recognize there are some challenges. It's a different group. It's different than a year ago. So we have to adjust a little bit better, and I think that really starts with me. I was pleased with how we ran the ball in the second half, and I thought that was significant. I hated my call at the end on third down where we took a sack. You know, I know better. I put him in a tough position there. We were thinking field goal, you know, to make it obviously a touchdown game. But I thought our special teams did a great job of controlling the field position, and then obviously defensively we were outstanding.
Can you remember the last time you won a game without a touchdown?
No. I can't recall. I mean, look, we did what was necessary tonight, but you know, I was proud of how we played to win this game.
There's Sean Payton, whose Saints team won a game without a touchdown for the first time since 1998. You were a youngin' back then when they were doing that. Let's go back to Teddy Bridgewater because Sean kind of cut you off on that thing. But so they paid a bunch of money for him as a backup, but he's come through with 2 games that you look at the schedule and think, my goodness, Seattle and Dallas. How do we just put our finger in the dike and hold water? And yet they've excelled, and he's been a part of it, if not as flashy as Drew Brees. But you know what? He didn't give the ball to the other team. And he makes the right decision, and he's kind of invaluable in exactly the role you want him to.
No, Teddy Bridgewater is doing what you want a backup quarterback to do. He's a guy who hasn't gotten all the reps because Drew Brees is the starter, but you can implement him into the game and run his type of game plan. And you heard Sean Payton talk a little bit about the last call on third down and how he didn't like it. But the one thing he understands is Teddy Bridgewater will protect the ball and not make a bad play. And that's why he ended up taking the sack, to make sure that this team was in a good position to win.
Smart play, even if you lose the yards, and that's why he's 2-0 Teddy, and we heard from Sean Payton, and so now it's the equal and opposite reaction kind of thing. Here's Jason Garrett of the Cowboys.
I thought we did some good things offensively, but certainly not good enough. The turnovers hurt us in the ball game, and you know, in a game like this, there are limited opportunities, so you have to take advantage of the ones you have as best you can. We didn't do that. We didn't play consistency well enough on the offensive side of the ball and didn't generate enough big plays to give us the scoring opportunities we needed to.
Robert Quinn was relentless off the edge for Rossi Bridgewater. Can you just talk about his impact in the game and what stood out to you about his performance?
Yeah, Robert did a great job in the game. Just to the naked eye, without watching the tape, he certainly was very active in the game. He was around the quarterback the whole game. Just was a very disruptive guy. Big sacks in the game, but harassing him and really making you know, the quarterback uncomfortable in the pocket and forcing him to kind of move through his progressions and move around in the pocket. So his presence and his impact was certainly felt.
The turnovers were one thing. You had problems sustaining drives, just moving the football.
Yeah, one of the best things we've done here the first 3 weeks is convert third downs, and we weren't quite as good on that tonight. And obviously we didn't run the ball as consistently and as effectively as we would have wanted to in this game. So, you know, that's really, you know, what we've been able to do up to this point is keep drives alive by controlling the line of scrimmage in the running game and converting the third downs. We didn't do a good enough job of either of those tonight.
Any update on Tyron Smith?
No, we're still he's still getting an examination. Obviously, it happened at the end of the ball game when I think Dak fell on him.
DeMarcus Lawrence, before his injury, he was on the sideline for some of that. Was he battling injuries throughout the game?
Seems like he's going to be okay.
Coach, on the fumble on that 4th and 1 with Zeke, just talk about that play a little bit. Why you decided to go on 4th down there in the first half?
Yeah, I just obviously felt good about being able to convert it, which we did. And unfortunately, they ruled that play the way they ruled it. So that was an opportunity for us before the half to go in and score some more points. We were doing a good job controlling the line of scrimmage a little bit there, and I thought our guys did a good job coming off the ball, and Zeke made a good run.
Jason Garrett's team no longer defeated, 3-1. They go home. They got to play the Packers next. Saints have the Bucs. So we just saw 12-10. You like that? or I can offer you 55-40 with the Buccaneers.
That might be a
and
little bit
Rams.
more fun to watch.
All right, let's take a look at what happened. Again, these teams once played an 11-6 game in the NFC Championship game. We're